House Leader, third party.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Over the last decade, the royalties coming in from natural gas have fallen considerably. Last year, the total value was $102 million, compared to a decade earlier when it reached $1.3 billion. But at the same time, far more gas was produced. Part of this decline, of course, has been due to the declining market prices for gas, but part of it is also the infamous Deep Well Credit Program. My colleagues and I have raised the issue of the Deep Well Credit several times in this House. It is an outdated fossil fuel subsidy, currently sitting at well over $2.6 billion in credits, and just this year, companies claimed $631 million in deep well credits, revenues that did not come to the province for a natural resource that belongs to the Crown. Added to this is the bouquet of over $5 billion in government subsidies, once you add it all up, that have been given to LNG Canada, a single plant that is soon to become BC's largest carbon polluter. Meanwhile, the rest of BC has been told to tighten its belt. A couple weeks ago, Order in Council 580/2019 was signed and released, which clarifies some of the details about how CleanBC Industrial Incentive Program will operate, particularly in relation to the fiscal framework for LNG Canada. Through you, Honourable Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Finance. What % of the carbon tax, above $30 a tonne, will LNG Canada get back through the CleanBC Industrial Incentive Program when it starts operating in its first eligible year?
Minister of the Environment and Climate Change Strategy.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and thank you to the member for the question. The member's question is situated in the context of climate action and greenhouse gas emissions, and I want to take this opportunity, Honourable Speaker, to talk about the program that we introduced just under a year ago to reduce emissions in British Columbia significantly in all sectors, Honourable Speaker. It's called CleanBC. The members of the Green Caucus, and the leader of the third party worked with us on developing a plan to reduce emissions across all sectors. We have implemented that plan, and we continue to implement that plan. We understand that it will take a number of steps and a number of stages to reach our target, but we're committed to reach that target, and we introduced accountability legislation and passed that accountability legislation in this session in order to ensure British Columbians can hold us accountable for what we do. We have had success. The Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing is building zero energy efficient buildings throughout the province. And perhaps, Honourable Speaker, more importantly, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing is investing significantly in retrofitting social housing for those who can least afford high energy bills to live in comfort with lower bills and greater affordability.
Thank you.
Honourable Speaker, we have a number of measures in transportation and industry, and I'll be happy to talk about them at greater length. But the member knows we have a plan, we're on track, we have accountability, and we have the best and most energy efficient carbon reduction program in North America.
House Leader, third party.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I'm not sure what to say to the Minister that I didn't ask the question for answering a question I didn't ask, but I'll try again. Honourable Speaker, I'm just going to try again to ask the Finance Minister a question, and in light of the Climate Accountability Act and the transparency and accountability that this government has made a commitment to, I think that it is important that the public knows very clearly how much the oil and gas industry is getting in subsidies from this government. So I'm going to ask the Minister of Finance again the same question. What % of the carbon tax above $30 a tonne will LNG Canada get back through the CleanBC Industrial Incentive Program when it starts operating in its first eligible year?
Members. Minister of the Environment and Climate Change Strategy.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. And to the member opposite, that's exactly what the CleanBC program is intended to do: clean the air across BC and across the planet. Honourable Speaker, I gave the context of the overall emissions reduction strategy in CleanBC because it's very important as part of an answer that we understand reducing emissions across all sectors, including industry. The program to which the member refers is called the CleanBC Program for Industry. It is scheduled through a combination of rebates based on highest performing across the globe industries with respect to carbon intensity to get money back so that they can continue to invest in emission reduction strategies. This program, coupled with technological incentives, will reduce 2.5 million tonnes of carbon dioxide equivalent by the year 2030, in addition, Honourable Speaker, to all the other measures that are being taken. Honourable Speaker, I know that the members of the third party disagree with this approach, but it is important. Members. It is critically important, and if the members opposite would just be give me a second or two, I will give them the answer they're seeking. It is critically important, Honourable Speaker, that we keep the economy moving in British Columbia while lowering emissions, that we keep people employed in British Columbia while we work together with industry to lower emissions. That's exactly what we're doing. LNG Canada, Honourable Speaker, is eligible for exactly the same framework as all of the rest of industry in British Columbia. The rebate they will get for the additional $20 a tonne by the coming years. Listen carefully, members opposite. Listen carefully. This is what you're waiting for. They will be eligible because they are matching the highest performing carbon intensity in the globe for 100% of the carbon tax above $30 a tonne. And if they meet that standard on review in 5 years, they'll continue. And if they don't, they won't.